In June of 2020, one of Germany's most valuable companies made a strange announcement. Its auditors couldn't find 1.9 billion euros, not misplaced, not stolen from an account. The company said the money was sitting safely in two banks in the Philippines. The banks said, "We have never heard of you." Within a week, the company admitted the truth. The money didn't exist. It had probably never existed. And this wasn't some sketchy startup. This was Wirecard, a member of the DAX, Germany's index of its 30 most important companies, sitting alongside BMW and Siemens. Its chief executive was celebrated as Germany's answer to Silicon Valley. Its technology processed card payments for millions of people. Regulators protected it. Auditors approved it. For a decade. This is the story of Wirecard, the $2 billion hole at the heart of Europe's proudest fintech, explained so simply a 5-year-old could follow along. And it comes with the strangest ending in this series so far. One man in a courtroom for years, and one man who simply vanished. Meet the two men. First, Markus Braun, the boss. Austrian, quiet, always in a black turtleneck, which everyone noticed looked a lot like Steve Jobs. He spoke in grand sentences about the end of cash. Investors adored him. Second, Jan Marsalek, the fixer. Young, charming, always smiling, the chief operating officer who handled the complicated, faraway parts of the business. Remember Jan, his ending is unlike anything else in this series. Now, what did Wirecard actually do? The real business is genuinely simple. When you tap your card at a shop, someone has to shuffle the money from your bank to the shop's bank and take a tiny fee for the trouble. That's payment processing. Boring, honest plumbing. Wirecard did this for real in Europe, for real shops with real fees. The problem was the real business didn't make enough money, and Braun had told the world that Wirecard was growing like a rocket. So the company invented a second business to cover the gap. Here's the 5-year-old version. Imagine a kid with a lemonade stand. The stand sells 10 cups a day. But the kid tells everyone he also owns 3 invisible lemonade stands in countries far, far away, run by his friends. And those stands sell 1,000 cups a day. When the grown-ups ask to see the money from the faraway stands, the kid says, "It's kept in a special piggy bank at my friend's house. You can't look inside, but here's a note from my friend saying it's full." That was Wirecard's trick, almost exactly. The company claimed huge profits from partner businesses in Asia and the Middle East, places where Wirecard supposedly processed payments through third parties. The profits from these partners were said to be collected in special trustee accounts in Asia. Year after year, the auditors asked to verify the money, and year after year, they accepted notes from the friend's house. Letters and statements claiming the accounts were full. By the end, 3/4 of Wirecard's claimed profits came from this invisible business. Let me say that more plainly. The part of the company that made almost all the money on paper was the part nobody could ever actually see. So who was supposed to catch this? 3 groups. And this is where Wirecard becomes a bigger story than one company. Group 1, the auditors. A firm from the Big Four checked Wirecard's books every single year for over a decade, and every year they signed off. They accepted screenshots. They accepted letters from a trustee. What they did not do for years was independently call the banks and ask, "Does this account exist?" The one phone call again. We saw it with Madoff's clearinghouse. Nobody made the call. Group 2, the journalists who did their job for them. Starting in 2015, reporters at the Financial Times published story after story pointing at the invisible business. They had whistleblowers. They had documents. The response was ferocious. Wirecard called it market manipulation. It hired investigators. And this is the part you should sit with. Group 3, the German regulator, looked at the fight between a beloved national champion and foreign journalists and took the company's side. In 2019, it banned short selling of Wirecard shares, the first time it had ever protected a single company like that, and it filed a criminal complaint against the journalists. The referee didn't just miss the fraud. The referee tackled the people trying to stop it. Why? National pride, mostly. Germany finally had a tech giant, a fintech in the DAX, and nobody wanted the answer to be no. You've heard that sentence before on this channel. It never stops being the reason. The end began with a simple demand. After years of pressure, a special audit was ordered. and the auditors finally insisted on the one thing that had never happened: independent confirmation from the Philippine banks themselves that the trustee accounts held the 1.9 billion euros. In June of 2020, the answer came back. The documents claiming the money existed were, in the bank's own word, spurious, fake. One of the banks pointed out the supposed account documents used the wrong letterhead. The invisible lemonade stands had no piggy bank at all. What happened next was the fastest collapse in German corporate history. Day 1. Wirecard announces the missing money and Braun appears in a video insisting the company may itself be the victim. Day 2. Braun resigns. Day 5. Wirecard admits the money likely doesn't exist. Day 7. Insolvency. A DAX company gone in a week, owing banks billions borrowed against profits that were never real. And here's where our two men take very different exits. Markus Braun, the turtleneck, was arrested within days. He has been in custody ever since, and his trial, which began in December of 2022, is still going on as I make this video. It has run for more than 250 court days across more than 3 years, the biggest fraud trial in modern German history. Braun insists he was deceived by the people around him. A verdict isn't expected until 2026 at the earliest. Sam got his verdict in weeks. Bernie's took months. Braun's fraud was so tangled it has outlasted them all, and it still has no ending. And Jan Marsalek, the fixer, the man who ran the invisible business? On his last day, he told colleagues he was flying to Manila to prove the money existed. He never arrived. Records were faked to make it look like he'd landed in the Philippines, while he actually flew east on a private jet. He has never been seen publicly since. Investigators now say he had been living for years as more than a payments executive. Reporting suggests deep ties to Russian intelligence and that he spent his fugitive years in Moscow under false identities. Interpol lists him among Europe's most wanted. The man who controlled the 2 billion that never existed became himself a man who doesn't officially exist. So what do you take from Wirecard? First, the invisible part of a business is the part to question hardest. Wirecard's real plumbing was fine. The fraud lived entirely in the far away, trust me, you can't look there part. Whenever a company's best profits come from its least visible operations, that's not a detail. That's the whole story. Second, a signature is not a verification. 10 years of clean audits meant 10 years of nobody calling the bank. The lesson of this entire series in one sentence: paper agrees with whoever prints it. Only the phone call tells the truth. And third, the guardians can do worse than sleep. With Madoff, the watchdog missed it. With Wirecard, the watchdog bit the journalists. When questioning a national champion becomes unpatriotic, the champion can get away with anything. The louder a country, a company, or a crowd tells you an investigation is an attack, the more that investigation is usually worth. The scam never changes. This time, it wore a black turtleneck and spoke German, and its $2 billion lived in a piggy bank that no one was ever allowed to open because it was never there. If you want more true stories like this, drawn badly on purpose and explained simply on purpose, subscribe. Next time, the woman in the black turtleneck, the blood testing machine that never worked, and the $9 billion company built on a single drop of blood.